Hi, welcome to this lesson for microbit. Today we're going to be making the Morse code sender utilizing the Bluetooth radio function to create Morse code and then send it for another microbit to pick up. We're also going to be utilizing the laser cutter, the Glowforge laser cutter that we have to develop a case for us. Alright, so first thing first, once you've entered into your microbit coding platform, we can go ahead and get rid of this delete here, but leave the on start. Head on over to radio and grab your radio set group right here. And you're also going to want to click on more and grab this radio set transmit power. We're going to place both of these into our on start, and we can leave them at the 7 and the 1 value. Next, let's go on over to input, grab an on button A, grab another one here for on button B. Let's set up a value for on shake, and grab another on shake and change that to on screen down. So if we put the screen upside down. Next step is on button A. We actually need to grab a basic here, and we're just going to make a little block here to represent our dot. So if you know Morse code, you know it's a series of dots and dashes that are used. So the dots and dashes is just going to be on button A is going to be our dot, on button B is going to be our dash. Grab our radio send number 0 and grab back on basic here. We want it to pause, so we're putting in a little bit of a buffer in there, so pause milliseconds, and then we're wanting it to clear out the screen. We're going to do the same thing here on button B, so grab this, your show LEDs, just create a dash. We can make it like that, that's fine. Once you've made it like that, grab your, radio over here, and radio send number, and we're going to set that to send number 1. And then again, the pause milliseconds and the clearing out the screen. Next, we're going to, on the shake, very simply, another show LED. Let's make an arrow. So it's going to be sending. Next, we're going to grab radio send number. I'm going to set that to 2. And then pause milliseconds, that 100 milliseconds, and blank it out. Then on the on-screen down, simply same thing, basic, show LED. Let's create an X here. Oops. Grab our radio send number 3. Pause millisecond and blank this out. So we have our dots, our dash. This is going to represent when we're ready to go on to the next letter. And this is going to be our stop. So we could put that at the end of a word. So dot, dash, next letter, and then stop. Now that we have this, we are going to be creating the receiving value. And to do that, let's grab our radio, on radio received, and in our logic here, let's grab an if, not what I wanted, sorry. Let's grab the if true, then else. We're going to add an else if, and add another else if, and an else. So it should say true, else if, else if, else. And what's simply going to happen is we're going to be putting in the values for these, the dots, the dash, this, and the X. The X is actually going to be here. So what we're saying is that if it receives these 3 variables, do this specific function, and if it's not receiving the variable, then display this. Let's go ahead and build that out, grabbing our logic, and we're going to be utilizing this blank equals blank. And under variables here, we see the received number is already created. It always is. I'm going to save myself some time here, and I recommend you do the same. And just duplicate what you've just created. Drop this in. Drop this in. Let's drop this in. Change these numbers to correspond with a value. So 0 is going to be that one. This will be 1. And this will be 2. And if it's not receiving any of these numbers, then it's going to display what we want it to display. Next is the basic. Let's grab our show LEDs here. You could, if you wanted to, duplicate the block and grab that over. That could actually be a little faster for you. Up to you. It's going to save you like a fraction of a second. So not a big deal. Okay, this one is going to be our arrow. So remember the corresponding values. 0 we had set to the dot. 1 is set to the dash. 2 is set to the arrow. And then we're saying none of those is going to be our X. Once we have these, let's add in another pause. So we're in basic, pause, and then clear out the screen. It's going to make it easier for us. This is the code to make this work. Again, you can always test this out. Show simulator, dot. So dot shows it, dash, shake. Then I don't know how to flip this upside down. So we're going to assume upside down works. You'll have to test that out on yours. Next step is going to be creating our SVG file for the laser cutter to use. So what you're going to want to do is head on over to Tinkercad. Once you get to Tinkercad, if you have a login, sign in with it. If not, make sure you create your own login and then check out the next video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the comment section of this video. Raise your hand in class, or, leave your comment on Classroom, and I will try and get back to you. Thanks for watching.